Are we live? We're live. Welcome, welcome. Are you all here? Are people gathering? Microphones test. Camera test. All good? Just let me know if you're seeing me.
Tall Americano and Jonathan is here.
Excellent. Okay, just so you know, we've already had a problem. This is what happens when you go live. Our kettle doesn't seem to be working at the moment because we've transferred everything to the lounge. I think I may have blown a fuse or something. So we're going to get a kettle soon from my neighbour, and it's a good thing to say that we don't need fancy kettles to do cupping session. It's really just about brewing this without any fancy equipment. And I'm going to be like that today. I'm going to be using an ordinary kettle, not my beloved Fellow's kettle, because it just doesn't seem to be working here on our power system in the lounge. So we'll get right into it. I'm going to start explaining, and then we'll have a 10-minute break when we let everything set, where I can catch up. So let's get right into it. Today's cupping session is going to be for the April edition of our Coffee Club Taster Set box, which is focusing on the coffee process. So each month we focus on a different thing, and this month's focus is the coffee process. So if you get your taster sets ready, you should have all your equipment ready. What I like to have is the tasting card, the 4 cups. Now your 4 cups can be any size cups really. Just grab 4 different shapes, sizes, cups, for as long as you fill the same amount of water in them. 1 kettle, working hopefully, a grinder, hand or machine grinder, 2 spoons, 2 glasses of water, neither of which are to drink, so a third glass if you want to have water to sip with, but these 2 glasses are for cleaning. I think you're being called, I'm not sure. This is our kettle replacement emergency, so sorry if I'm a bit out of sorts. It was just literally a minute before we were starting that we discovered the kettle wasn't working. So go figure, that's what happens live. Just want to say welcome to people who've joined us from the London Coffee Festival. You're not officially Coffee Club members, but we'd love you to be. So it's great that you joined us for the one-off. And this is a super exciting session that we do each month. So Coffee Club members know that all too well. And people joining us on the London Coffee Festival. Hopefully you can join us again every month as we focus on a different theme each time. Now, at the end of this session, I will be announcing next month's theme edition. So that's going to be a great one as well. Now, what do we go into next? I just want to get my correct running order because we've got a lot to do today. So the coffee cupping event that we do is really just a great trainer for your palate. All right? So sensory tastes, experiences like that, enjoying coffee on a deeper level, appreciating coffee for all its fine details is just a wonderful thing. People love it in wine, and now people in specialty coffee are just deep diving into flavor. The only flavor I don't want to taste in coffee, ironically, is coffee. Now, to explain what I mean by that, it's that burnt taste of coffee. It's almost a carbon taste. And as soon as you get roasted, slightly more than light roasted, like medium on filter coffees, particularly, I pick up that taste. And that flavor note to me, it's not a defect because I know it's a very popular flavor, but it's not something I seek in coffee. In specialty coffee, I go looking for everything else. As we know, the flavor wheel is all about all those other flavors. You won't find on the flavor wheel the flavor note of coffee. So, let's see. What else? Aiko, can you remind me of the running order?
Yeah.
So what do we got next?
Firstly,
Got the
can I
taster
say-
set.
Firstly, can I say?
Yes,
People are here.
they're here.
So,
Fantastic.
Albert, Lasse, Pradeep.
Pradeep, Lasse,
David,
all of you. So good to see you.
Ronita.
Hi, Ronita.
Says, don't worry, it will all work out.
Thanks, Ronita.
I'm
Can't
a
believe it
barista.
doesn't work.
I'm a barista.
Oh, fantastic. Mickey's here as well. I'm not a barista. If you want to check them out, have got amazing playing cards and some exciting developments coming ahead with that. I will be talking more about that in the future, but do check out their latest project. These brew cards are absolutely amazing. So
Let's talk about how to do cupping.
right,
flow-wise.
how do you do a cupping? What is a coffee cupping? Well, I said it's a sensory sort of experience, but if from a professional point of view, roasters and producers, farmers, all the industry love to do cuppings for the main reason of just profiling coffees. They have a job to do all day, tasting coffees. So they haven't got time to brew. You know how long it takes to make one coffee. Now imagine if you have to do it 8, 10 times. You just can't spend that long when it's time to taste. So the cupping session is a way of brewing lots of coffees at a relatively short time. So I'm going to be able to make these 4 coffees cupping style in a much shorter space of time than I would if I was doing V60 or Kalita or AeroPress brews 4 times. So all I need to do is make sure that I grind the coffee at a certain grind setting, which is what again?
In Comandante, it's usually 26.
There we go. 26 clicks for your Comandante, 18 for the Barazza, and for the Ode, well, you get this guide on here, and they say cupping, which is towards the finer end. So between 2 and 4, we'll stick it on number 3, right in between. Now, the grind afterwards, you don't pour it in any filter paper or anything. So I'm just trying to keep my thoughts aligned here. The kettle has thrown me. Sorry. So you'll grind all 4, and then you'll smell. That's something you don't want to rush through. Once you grind the coffee, you want to take note of the aroma. Now you can do the aroma on your tasting card dry. I know it's a little bit harder to pick up the aroma once it's brewed. You can do it when you break the crust, but it's good to get a sense of the dry aroma as well. Sometimes that gives you just a little bit more understanding of your coffee, but sometimes I think the aroma dry, it's not often the accurate story of the coffee. It just depends on the type of coffee. So what's next? After that, we're going to pour the water in. Very important tip is that if you haven't filled your kettle completely, then hitting all 4, if you start to run out, if you think I've only got a little bit of water left before the 4th, don't pour halfway and then reheat the kettle and then pour a bit more. Just wait. If you're not sure, just stop at 3 and then refill the kettle and then pour 4. But when you refill the kettle, don't fill too much. It'll heat up quicker if you just put enough for that 4th cup. Last time I made a mistake. I had 5, and that 5th one, I just had to wait ages to heat up the kettle, and then it was always out of sync with the other 4. So I just recommend you have a really nice big kettle. We have got 4 this time, not 5, so we should be able to fill everything up. Just want to make sure you all understand what we're going to go through, because once we go, we go. So you're going to pour the water in, and then you leave it for 4 minutes. This is the first stage of the brewing. Because there's no paper involved, you do have to just let it steep and soak. So it's 4 minutes. We'll set the timer. Then you get your 2 spoons and break the crust. Now there is a technique. So what you want to do is just get 1 spoon and push backwards and forwards. Now you're doing 2 things when you do that. One is you're forcing all the coffee down because you don't want too much of that coffee on the surface. You actually want it to get into the coffee and brew. So you break it, send it down, and at the same time, smell it. Because as you break that crust, that first bit of aroma and heat will break through the crust. And that's your one chance, I think, to get a really good sense of the aroma when it's brewing. After that, it's just kind of, there's not much steam coming off the coffee. You might try to smell it, but you won't pick up as much as that moment of breaking the crust. So enjoy that moment of aroma as well. That might be another time to adjust what you're smelling on the tasting card. The aroma, that's probably the only one we'll deal with in the first minute or 2. After you've done that, you want to scoop out the rest, right? We want a nice clean cup. So you go to the edges. I'll show you vertically, but the cup, imagine the cup is in front of me. So I'm down here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the edges just a little bit, not too deep. You don't want to dig in. You're not spooning the coffee out. You're just going below the surface and then around the edges of the cup. Scoop up the bits on the surface, and then, not in your drinking water like this, dip into 1 cup to clean, dip into the other cup to clean, dry on the towel, then go with the next. 1 spoon, break, smell, scoop, dip, dip, clean. Break, smell, scoop, dip, dip, clean. There we go, 4 times, routine. I'm going to kill more time before the kettle gets here. So, do we have kettle? Yes! Okay. So, demonstrate breaking the crust. That's it. How to use the tasting card. Here's a good one. Right, so if you don't have the tasting cards, check the information on YouTube because we've got a link to print these off. right? We want everybody to participate. This is a very important thing because your profile of the coffee is going to be part of a collective profile on our website. If you go and check out the members lounge now, you can see previous editions have members profiles all up there. All your flavor notes, your collective kind of scores and profiles, they go in there. They're also an important part of our giveaway competition. So we give away prizes every month, and we like to give prizes to the people that really contribute, that really participate and get proactively involved. So you're basically not only contributing to the community, doing great stuff in terms of learning and using the card for your own benefits, you're also in with a chance for winning prizes. It's an amazing thing. So, are we happy? Yes? Any questions before we get going? Aiko has swiftly swapped the kettles over, so we should get heating straight away. Get your kettles ready. Get your grinders ready. It will take me just a few seconds to grind, so I'll wait for everybody because I don't want to go ahead of anybody. So just tell me when everybody's ready. I'm going to start heating the kettle.
I think people can start grinding now.
Go, start grinding, guys. Let's get going. I want to taste these 4 coffees. I want to talk about 4 processes. They're so exciting. If you've been following our coffee club events over the last few weeks, or not few weeks, sorry, the last few days, the events, but if you've been following us, we've been talking a lot about the 4 processes of these coffees, and we've even chatted with some people. We managed to meet raw materials for coffee number 1. Yesterday we spoke with Eric, the farmer in Guatemala for La Esperanza. Caro Coffee Roasters was a great interview with the roaster telling us all about his discoveries with this coffee. I'll tell you about this later. And number 4, the epic Dilgo, of course. We're going to be having possibly a farm chat with the producer next week. Not sure yet, waiting for confirmation on that. So hopefully that'll be a really good coup.
Okay, sorry, some questions here.
Already got some questions. Okay, guys.
Did you mention how much coffee we are grinding?
I'm sorry, the recipe is 12 grams of coffee, 200 ml of water. Now that means if you don't have to scale this because I've got cupping bowls. I know that's basically near the top. So what you want to do is make sure if you don't know exactly what 200 is, it's more important that you pour the same amount in each. So find out what roughly, I could say 200 ml is probably about that much of water. About a mug, a bit less maybe. So I would say probably 2/3 of a mug, half a mug.
Yeah, but it depends. So
It depends, but just
people
make
can
sure
scale.
they can scale, but make sure that if you've got 1 cup this size and 1 cup this size, that you're pouring the same amount of water in each. So it's not about fancy equipment. It's really just about achieving equality and equal results. Then we'll get through. Okay,
Another question.
another question,
Why
yes.
is this tasting card so simplified?
The tasting card is simplified. Well, because we like to do things differently here at the Right Roast. We're sort of pivoting between bringing in new people to specialty coffee and speaking to those more on the more advanced side. So we wanted to do something that sort of pleases both the amateur and the advanced. And that's a tough thing to do, really, because some tasting cards have tremendous details on them that are very satisfying to look at when you look back. But I just feel that they're too complicated for some people. And really, we just want to understand sensory experiences on a basic level before we take it further. There are courses, very advanced ones out there, and I'm sure during this Fringe Festival, there are some really, really exciting and interesting advanced courses to take. You should take them. In fact, I will be taking them too one day. So we treat this more as amateur level sensory experience. Let's grind. Okay, so coffee number 1. David's ready. Sorry, David.
Number 1 is that one.
Oh, right, sorry. Start at number 1. Okay. So in it goes. Right.
You start on the bottom of
Oh yeah, I could grind straight into the cup. Brilliant. There we go. See? Aiko's full of sensible ideas. I'm going to put straight away the cup in there. And now grind. Okay. Never done that before. It doesn't spill, so that's good. Right. I won't smell it yet. Well, actually, maybe I will. Ooh, it's a lovely, gentle, really lovely, gentle sort of smell from the Timor Laclo. That's a wash coffee. Okay, so next.
coffee.
Okay. Right. So, grinding number 2. Oh, I haven't poured the coffee in. Yeah, coffee's inside. You see, I'm not doing things right yet. Okay, here we go. And grind. Very fast grinder. I really, really enjoy using this grinder. Okay, top tip though, coffee gets caught inside sometimes, so I tend to tap it. That gets the rest out. Okay, KB, here we go. Wow, the aroma's incredible. I'm already smelling sweet sharpness. Is anybody else getting that already? You can tell so much of the coffee from the aroma. Fantastic. Oops, no, pour the beans in the top. Okay. And grind. Okay, kettle's ready. Whoops, gotta turn that off. There we go. Okay, number 3. This is the anaerobic honey process from Colombia. Oh wow, more gentle an aroma than I thought, because the taste is so wow. Do you see what I mean? This is why I don't take the aroma as telling really always an accurate depiction of the whole story. So here we go.
Okay.
Oh, I did it again. Okay, pour the beans in the top. Right, my clumsiness hopefully is your amusement, everybody. Right, it's coffee number 4 now.
Jonathan loves the smell of second one.
The smell of the second one is amazing, isn't it? Now, I think the taste of number 2 is one of the more gentle tastes. So for the aroma to be one of the more pungent ones is an interesting thing in itself. Okay.
Also, David
Oh,
likes
yeah.
the smell of number 4.
Number 4, I'm smelling. Doesn't it smell like just beautiful blueberries, or not blueberries, blackberries? Wow. It smells like blackberry jam already. Incredible smell.
John has a question. Which coffee grinder would you consider the high-end for cupping?
A high-end grinder for cupping? I don't know if any specific for cupping. I think that that for cupping you don't really need high-end. You just, because you're doing no filter papers, so there's no problems with fines or anything like that. I wouldn't say that you particularly need to focus on a high-end grinder for cupping. Just, there are high-end grinders that will grind for espresso. There are good grinders for filter. I'm not aware of any that's been done for cupping. The Ode I love because it works at home like a mini professional grinder. It's very fast. When I was hand grinding in the early days a few months ago, it would take a long time. So I'm very grateful to have more time to talk. But I don't think there's a specific one I could recommend for cupping. But if anybody has ideas for one, please post them in the message box and help him out. Right, are we ready to go? Have I explained everything?
I think so.
All right.
Are they ready?
Are you all ready? Okay, I think we're all ready to do 4 pourings. I'm going to start at number 1, and I'm going to pour just before the top because I've got a cupping bowl which is pre-measured to the 12-200. So here we go.
Oh, Ronita nearly ready.
Ronita,
Nearly ready.
nearly ready. Hurry up, Ronita. I'm going to have to get going. Here we go.
What temperature do you advise?
Boiling is fine, okay? Just boil the water. It's another reason why you don't need the professional equipment. Okay, I'm pouring number 2. The professional kettles that can temperature control are irrelevant now. In a cupping session, just boil the water. Just make sure you're pouring the same amount 4 times. And you've ground the same amount of coffee 4 times. How much of coffee and water that is? Well, I'm doing 12-200, but you don't have to. You might only have 8 beans left of each. Just do 8 and then reduce the water for each. Okay. And that's number 4. There we go. Okay. It's that simple. So now it's just wait 4 minutes. So should we start the timer?
Yep.
Okay. Have you got the timer? Mm-hmm. Great. Thanks. Flavor wheel, don't need that yet. Processor's card, don't need that. Now, I remember the aroma, so should I write down? I don't think so. I think I'll wait, because the dry aroma suggested that number 2 has this very strong smell, which is, I mean, yeah, I'm going to write that down now. So I want to remember that number 2 had this very interesting strong smell. So number 2, towards the strong end. Number 1, very subtle. Number three was more soft than I imagined. I really thought number three's sort of anaerobic honey process would create a more pungent smell. So that was a bit of a surprise. And number four, just higher than past the middle for me, because it had a very particular strong blackberry smell. Okay. Now, if you remember in your in your taster set, I don't put flavor notes on the bags for precisely this reason, that the flavor notes that the roasters give, it makes it often very hard for you to then go your own way. You're not free to explore when the roaster has already attached your mind to the flavor notes they're tasting. I love it. I love their guide most of the time because I don't want the sensory experience in my own mind every single cup of coffee. I want to sit back, drink a coffee and look at the bag and see what the roaster is guiding me through. And there's no better guide, I think, than this bag. So we did the unusual thing of including in the taster set his flavor profile for number one. It was a little card which represented what was on the bag for Dilgo, for Coffea Circular, I should say. Coffea Circular, their coffee, Dilgo, the Panama Geisha, is such a special one. We had to do this as a launch for our coffee club, new edition. So we went really special. It's not going to happen every month that we get 94 points scoring beans. Now, if you're wondering, that it's 94 out of 100. And that means these beans are super duper premium. And the experience on the bag is second to none, really. He's giving you aroma, flavor, aftertaste, acidity, body, what type of balance. I mean, an incredible journey through the sensory experience. But for today's session, please put those cards away. Let's go on autopilot and trust ourselves. Switch off autopilot, I mean, and trust ourselves. And we'll just get through these without anything but your own mind, your own senses, and the flavor wheel. Now, the flavor wheel is a terrific way to just go through the sensory experience. In your mind is going, what am I tasting? What kind of this? And then what kind of that? Now, I go through in detail what I mean by that as I'm tasting. Because what I like to do is just show a sort of transparency of my thought process when I'm tasting the coffees. And hopefully you can relate to me, your thought processes, or at least see if mine are helping you understand where yours differentiates or where you're similar. So what time are we at now?
Nearly ready.
Nearly ready, okay. So get ready, everyone. Get your 2 spoons. Now remember, you're going to use 1 spoon, the back of, to break like that, forwards and backwards. And then that's going to release the smell and all the coffee is going to sink to the bottom, hopefully. And whatever's left, don't try and push it too much. Remember, we don't want to just over agitate the coffee. Nothing violent. Just be gentle, very gentle with your coffee. Okay.
John mentioned about the grinder.
Yeah.
His clients are using Marconic for cupping.
Right. Well, Marconics. Marconic. Are we talking about the EK43 by any chance? It's a classic. I love the EK43, but you're talking about like a 4,000 pound machine that's about this big, and it's strictly for professionals. So if anybody has a home EK43, let me know. I would find that incredibly fascinating. Are we ready? There we go. So let's break the crust on number 1. Here we go. Right, I'm going to get these cups. I'll leave them there because I'm going to just dip and clean each time. So number 1. Wow, such a gentle aroma. It's not a very sweet one though. The taste, I remember the taste. Okay, sorry. So dip in the first one, dip in the second, and dry. I might go again on number 1. I just want to get rid of everything. So remember, you've got another 10 minutes to let this brew. So you don't have to rush this and feel like you get it right in 1 scoop. Just take your time to make sure that you have a nice clean cup on the surface and that when you broke it, you've got a chance to smell it. Okay, so let's enjoy number 2 now, KB. Breaking the crust. There it is. It's quite a wild smell, number 2. If I had to guess what number 2 would taste like, I never would guess it's the taste that I do know Very interesting. Okay, cleaning it. I'm not great at this, but not bad. There we go. Dip. Oh, I don't have to dip second because I'm going to go back into the same cup. There are 2 spoons around the edge. All right, I'm sure there are people who have done this a lot and are better than me, but hopefully I'll be improving this over the months to come. Right. Wow, strong smell. Okay, number 3, here we go. So gentle. That one I could barely smell anything. Maybe it's because it immediately followed number 2, but that's very interesting, isn't it? If I had to guess number 3's flavour again, it would be far removed from what it actually is. Oh, it's a bit more, I'll get there. Okay. Okay, and number 4, right. Oh, wow. It's blackberries, but it's more going on now. It's already getting more complex and interesting, isn't it? So when I just smelled the dry aroma, I felt like I smelled one note cleanly, that blackberry. Now I'm already getting blackberries with some interesting, almost like hibiscus. Is anybody else getting that? Kind of hibiscus aroma in number 4. Incredible. Right. Okay. So that's clean enough, I think. And now we're just going to let it steep for another, about 8 minutes, yeah? It's a 10-minute wait.
10 minutes wait, and right now 7 minutes.
7, great. So I'm going to adjust my aroma, I think. No, actually, I think the dry aroma and the wet aroma have the same relative values. It's just really interesting to me how subtle number 3's smell is. The taste ain't subtle. Really, really extraordinary, beautiful taste.
Jonathan said the smell of number 4. Sorry for the caps, it has to be said like this because it's all capital.
Yeah, what's he saying?
The smell of number 4.
The smell of number 4, right? It's sort of blackberries and hibiscus. Is anybody else getting that? I mean, an incredible coffee. I'll quickly talk now about the processes for these coffees because I've learned a bit, and I have to say the first thing that surprised me was with coffee number 1, the Laclo, the washed coffee. For years and years, I always thought the washed coffee is the easiest process. It was my favorite for a long time. I remember when I tasted a Yirgacheffe natural coffee about 6-7 years ago. It was so wild and crazy. My taste buds weren't ready. I felt, eek, I just want to drink washed coffees. It was sort of a fear of the wild naturals that were out there. Obviously, a lot of naturals are like that, but I think a lot of naturals have really calmed down recently, and they're super exciting. Naturals now often taste cleaner than washed, or more washed than washed. It's not an indicator of the wildness anymore. Processes these days just are about extracting beautiful flavors from coffees. And the washed process is not what it seems. I really thought it's a simple process. You wash the coffee beans, and then these other processes like anaerobic, naturals, fermented, and all that sort of stuff are the more complicated ones. But you'd be wrong in thinking that. It happens to be that the wash process is a very complicated process in itself, and it requires many stages. And I've learned some of them. I'll try and relate some of it to you. I mean, the one in Laclo, when we were talking with assembly and when we were talking with raw material, I was really understanding that they brought from Colombia a lot of the sensibilities of the washing process, the washing stations, equipment and things like that they use in Timor are replicated to be exactly like the ones in Colombia. I know that the guy, is it Miguel from Raw Material? He's the sort of superhero that's brought all these concepts and ideas to Timor and has basically transformed Timor-Leste's quality of coffee. And that's incredible, because you're talking about just in a short space of time going from an economy based on oil, where coffee is just this second-rate thing, to now being the primary source of their economy, and specialty coffee rising up to the point where assembly are bringing us this incredible coffee. So fantastic work done by everybody involved with this. It's a real superstar job that they've done. I mean, in terms of bringing specialty coffee economy to the people of Timor. So pleased and proud of the work that they're doing. And I should say, right now in Timor, they're experiencing huge floods, huge problems, and Raw Material posting all about fundings that you can do to help them. So if you helped them out before, or if you've ever wanted to do good for this industry to keep specialty coffee coming, let's help Timor. Now, coffee number 2, the honey process. Fascinating conversation again with the roasters first on YouTube. All these videos are available on our YouTube channel, by the way. So the videos chatting with the roasters are on the YouTube channel, and Instagram has the videos where we talk with the farmers. And yesterday we spoke with Eric and Yola. Yola is from 88 Grains. They are the people that source these coffees, and they do fantastic work. We've worked with them before on a different coffee once. And Eric was telling us about the honey process and the few years, the last 4 or 5 years that he's been doing, shaping this coffee and basically taking the process out of other people's hands because they were doing a terrible job and taking over that job himself. And apparently I've learned it doesn't involve any water. They don't wash any of the beans off. The honey process with this coffee is where they let the moisture stay in under the skin of the coffee itself without removing too much of it. Now, the details of which you'll have to look at the video again because there was a lot of details, but it really is fascinating, the honey process. And I'm still learning a lot about it. Now, it didn't have a color. Often the honey process comes with either yellow honey, black honey, white honey, depending on that level. Didn't happen in this case. And I think he was telling me it's because of this moisture that's trapped inside, and it can be different for all the beans. So they don't really like to classify things. But to me, it tastes like one of the lighter honeys. So the fermentation process where they just leave the mucilage on the beans itself, the mucilage being that sticky fruit stuff, think it's probably where they don't leave too much on there, because those sort of, where they leave a lot on, it's more like a natural. Right, Caro.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, I better hurry. Okay, so Caro Coffee Roasters is another one that involves the honey process, but it also involves the anaerobic. So with this one, they'll do the same thing with the honey. They'll wash some of the mucilage off, but not all. Let it dry, let it sit, but this time also they used the anaerobic process. Now, how many hours anaerobic was this one? It was either a 12 or 36. I'll look it up. I'm sorry I don't have that information to hand. But the anaerobic process is where they put the beans in a bag, cable tie it, and then just let that soak up. So it's taking a lot of the flavors in the anaerobic that create that sweet, sharp taste that you're going to experience in this coffee. I love it. It gives it such an energy. And I really think it's that anaerobic process that gave this a third dimension for me of beauty.
It's 5 days, sorry.
Brilliant. It's not it's not hours. We're talking about days. How about that? It's 25 days of being soaking in these bags. Incredible. And that process took him years to perfect. So you're talking about farmers who are like artists. They take years to shape these coffees with experimenting in processes, with trying different things. And every time they try something, it must take probably a full year because of the harvest. Once they run out of the coffee, they have to wait a full year to experiment further. So one coffee you taste today is 4 or 5 years in the making often. Incredible, that to me. And finally, the Dilgo. Now, I wish we'd gotten to chat with the producers for this one. We did have a really long conversation with Ivica, co-founder of Coffea Circular, who have a really interesting story themselves. They started off making coffees for the United Nations, believe it or not. So amazing journey they had. Check out our conversation on YouTube. Okay, that's it.
Pradeep said, loving the aroma of number 3 too. Reminds me of Kit Kat original one.
Oh wow, Kit Kat original. I'm not getting that, Pradeep, but I love that you're picking up such specific, unusual notes. Now, often I get flavor notes that are like a Mars bar or an ice cream or some product or brand. Feel free to share those thoughts as well. Okay, let's get tasting. Got your spoons ready? Okay, so number 1. Now, what we do is we go sip, 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 and we only do mouthfeel. So clear your brains and don't think about flavors. Don't think about anything other than the one task at hand, okay? So it's going to be mouthfeel only now. Let's do it. Okay. Buttery. Quite silky, bit tanninish. You've got that tea-likeness that I love in coffees, but it's not aggressive. So a cloudy mouthfeel would be that milky sort of feeling, or maybe it's like, oh, the flavor note's hard to separate. And then I think the clean, well, if it's very, very clean, right on the edge, it can be that glassy taste. Not getting that here. Just go with your instincts. Okay, somewhere there. Next one, as quick as you can. If you don't want to drink too much coffee, I recommend that you have a little cup to spit in. I don't. I need my coffee today. Okay, mouthfeel for number 2. Yeah, that's quite clean as well. So, got 2 very clean ones. Now, number 3. Unexpectedly, not quite. This one shifts a little bit more to the right. Okay. Dip. And finally, number 4. Wow. Oh my God. Are you getting that? As soon as I sip number 4, I think my hair just curled up. Woo! Okay, but don't think about the flavors, just the mouthfeel. Just the mouthfeel. What am I getting? Yeah, it's very clean. Very, very clean. Woo! Okay, so wipe the slate clean, start again. Now it's acidity. Here we go. Acidity. Now that's the bite in your mouth, the crispness. Often people like to describe the type of acidity. Here we just want to know the strength of that acidity. Probably one of the lowest in my opinion. Not going to share too much, but I think the acidity, yeah, on number 1, pretty damn low. But not going to put it right at the bottom because I've tasted coffees with much lower acidity. Okay, number 2. Look for the bite. Quite similar. Okay. Oh yes, and I'm going to drip a lot of coffee on my card. So when you upload your cards, I love to see how messy the cards get as well. So often you see doodles and scratches and spills. It's all good. I love it. Okay. Number 3. Oh, okay. Getting something tangy. The tanginess is also a type of acidity. So, yeah. I've got plum in the middle, I think. Don't want to influence you though. Okay. Number 4. Now remember, slurping matters. When you go to cuppings, if you're new to this and you hear people going and you think, oh, I don't want to slurp like that. Why are they so loud? It's not rude. It's just a kind of way to aerate the coffee and extract more flavor. So some people slurp so loud, but that's okay. They're doing a good job of kind of just aerating the coffee, punching out the flavor into their mouth. Right, acidity to number 4. I got talking and forgot. I'd say 3 and 4, quite similar. Okay, so no coffees this time, in my opinion, with really high acidity. So interesting that in itself. 1 month we'll probably have coffees where they're all really high acidity, but who knows? This month I would say the highest for me are the last 2 and they sit somewhere in the middle. Okay, now the body, right? So the body, this is the overall feeling of the coffee's kind of baseline, central notes. Ignore the high stuff, just concentrate on the overall fullness of the coffee, the characters, and it's a character of the coffee. It's not a fullness in, I don't know, it's just a character feeling. Okay, I'll describe what I'm going through.
Ronita says Dilgo is amazing.
Dilgo is mind-blowing, isn't it? Calm down, everyone. Okay, so number 1.
Pradeep thinks number 3 has most acidity.
Yeah, Pradeep, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, I put them both in the middle, but maybe I'll adjust it later. Okay, so quickly go through these. Body. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try it this way, where I just sip, and then write, because they're starting to get cooler. Oh my God, number 4, it just interferes with my brain. Okay, so the body of number 4 is, they're all so delicate. Okay. There we go. And now the finish. I love this one. The finish is just right now. It's where after you've tasted it, maybe after 10 seconds or 15 seconds, is it keep going? This one, I think, sip water in between. Reset your palate each time. So here we go. Whoa, no. I've still got the taste of dill going in my mouth. Okay. Number 1, finish. Okay. Wow, that's a very short finish, you know. Number 1 just goes, hits the brakes. That's a lovely clean taste. And again, long, short, doesn't matter. We're just analyzing. There's no right or wrong. So short finish, lovely. Long finish could be lovely as well. I think if there's a coffee you don't like the taste of, long finish can be bad. Okay.
To Americano is already listing up the flavors.
Calm down. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Okay, on my way. Yeah, you see, I really think this is a light honey. I forget what color is the super light. I think it's like a white honey or a yellow honey. But that to me is what it tastes like because the finish is quite short. Now, the longer you go, the longer finish you go, the more of a natural coffee I think it tends to be. So in the honeys, you're definitely going to go yellow, red, and black, and then a natural. And the finish will go longer and longer and longer according to those colors. So this honey, I would say, is probably a very light honey because it's quite a short finish. A little bit longer though than this, washed. So now,
move quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Caro. Oh, nice and tangy. More tangy than when I brew it with a filter. I really urge you guys to try this in a Kalita if you've got one, or an Orea or something like that. Yesterday we did this number 3 in an AeroPress in our Zoom workshop, and delightful. So it's a very versatile coffee, this, and will change a little bit depending on what you brew it. Today I'm tasting more of the pineapple. The finish, a little bit longer than the last one. I get a kind of pepperiness at the end. Is anybody else getting that with number 3? An unusual pepperiness. Okay, palate, cleans the palate. Okay, number 4. Oh, what a coffee. Again, not super long. We haven't got any natural coffees here, by the way. The closest we have to a natural is Coffea circular because it involves some of the natural process. I believe it's a cold, anaerobic, natural, cold fermentation, anaerobic, natural coffee. So an incredibly complex coffee with complex beans, the geisha beans, high scoring ones as well. So super special coffee. Like I said, this was a real coup for us, and it was to launch this edition, launch the coffee club again. So we're not going to be doing such mega 94 beans every month, but I will try and find amazing coffees for you that at least match up in flavor to that. Okay, so the finish even longer, definitely.
David says, I'm so happy, really delicious coffees on the table.
David, boom. Okay.
And pepper finish, he agrees with.
You agree with that with number 3. Excellent. Right, now I'm going to concentrate on the flavors. So here we go. Number 1. Tea-like for sure. Put the tea-like in there. Well, what kind of tea, right? Here we go. Flavor wheel time. So I've said tea, but I want to go more specific. There are many types of tea. There's black tea, white tea, jasmine tea. So I'm going to guess that's a kind of black tea taste. Black tea. And not too much. Something like, I scribble in 30%. What else? It's like a soft fruit, but what kind? Here we go. So, is it stone fruit? It's not citrus. It's not berries. Is it raisin? I'm on the edge. I'm getting closer. It's a dry fruit. It's got a dry mouthfeel, but that could be the tea. So I'm separating it in my mind. I'm going to go with a kind of raisiny taste. What do you think?
Me.
Oh, sorry. Have a taste, Aiko. There we go. Sorry. I think it's something like that. I'm struggling, guys. Help me out here. There's got to be more than tea here.
Tall Americano says orange chocolate caramel.
Orange chocolate caramel, number 1. Fascinating. Really?
Jonathan mango.
Jonathan gets mango. I'm not getting mango. That's a tropical fruit, guys. Are you sure?
I do get mango.
Wow. Aiko gets mango. I'm not getting mango. You're all crazy. I'm going to go with something like a raisin. Okay. 40% raisin.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to this. This is a tricky coffee, this one. Subtle. It's a subtle, beautiful coffee. Number 2. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait. Palate cleanser. Very important that when you want to identify flavor notes is you don't want your mouth still lingering with other coffee's flavors, especially when you're sipping so many at once. So just try to reset. Palate cleansing, very important.
Pradeep is tasting lime and orange.
Lime and orange are number 1. Now Pradeep, I know, loves Assembly, the number 1 coffee. You can order more of the coffees you love at discount. That's the great thing about the coffee club. These are tastings. Pradeep ordered more of number 1, boom, and he's loving it. So I want to hear more about what Pradeep thinks about number 1. Okay.
David is tasting dried fruit, like you.
Number 1, yes. Excellent, David. Number 2. Wow. Honey. This is what I love about number 2. It's honey by name and honey by nature. So I definitely get some honey in number 2, but that's not the whole story by far. So a little bit of honey I'll say in there, but it's not even honey. It's like honey dew, you know? Imagine that little bit of sweet nectar that you find in a flower. That's the level of honey that I'm tasting in number 2. So I'll call it honey dew. Honey dew, about 30%. Okay. Number 2. What else? What else are you getting, Aiko?
Quite high acidity.
It is, isn't it? I'm going to change my mind about the acidity. Well done. I'm going to push that up. See, I'm scribbling out and I'm replacing acidity from being like, if this is the line, I had it quite low. I've moved it up past halfway. I was wrong. So do those adjustments if you need to, because remember, once you upload the cards to us, your final tallies, we're going to input into the system. So what else am I tasting?
Hibiscus, lime.
Lime? No. Maybe. Hibiscus? Definitely. Hibiscus.
David, Manuka honey.
Manuka honey. Now, I don't eat too much Manuka honey. Happens to be rather expensive. But I'm impressed, David, that you know the flavor of this very expensive honey.
And maybe some melon.
Melon. I like that. That's interesting. Very good, David. Melon is great. I'm not going to put it down because, well, I don't like melon as a fruit. But yes, I think I'm getting something like that in here. Interesting.
Suddenly acidity has gone up for me too, number 2.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Okay, let's jump into number 3. Remember, they're getting colder. So you don't want to wait too long. You want to sip all of them at one temperature and then at another. Every coffee tells a story and every coffee evolves. And some coffees really have 18 chapters to them and some just 2 chapters. So it's about discovering the coffee at each of the temperatures. And as you do that, you'll see the story unfold. And it's a wonderful one sometimes. And then imagine you're drinking just one coffee on a sunny afternoon. The taste, that last sip from the first sip, is often such a transformation. And it's gone through many stages. So let's enjoy all of those stages.
Jonathan, number 2,
Yeah.
maple syrup.
Maple syrup. All right, let me see. Hold on. Don't dip it in that one. Maple syrup. I don't think it's maple syrup, but that's interesting. It's like a kind of black syrup, like a cherry syrup. Ooh, maybe cherry. Black cherry. Anybody else getting that with KB? I could be imagining it, but suddenly came to me. Right. That palate cleansing really helps. I haven't put any flavors yet for number 3.
I also got hint of lime, Ronita says.
All right. Now number 3. Very interesting. Is that papaya? I think I'm getting something like papaya.
Number 3?
Yeah. About 40% papaya. Papaya. Now, if you're struggling with the flavor notes thing, remember, taste and then go, is it fruity? Is it sweet? Is it spicy? If you say fruity, well, what kind of fruit? Citrus? Berries? Stone fruit? Stone fruit. What kind of stone fruit? Apricot? Peach? That's what your brain should do every time. Go through a little journey from the basic to the advanced, from the broad to the specific. Okay.
Pradeep
Oh.
says yup to cherry.
Yeah, the black cherry thing, it's happening, isn't it? Right, number 4 now. Oh, no, number 3, still got just papaya, so let's keep going. Wow, now I'm getting the pineapple. It's really coming through. Now, for me, number 3 has just become amazing. And it's because the temperature has reached a point where it's just singing. So if you've brewed at the same time as me, jump into number 3 now. It's at this really low temperature. It's absolutely divine, isn't it? That's what I mean, guys. Super exciting. It's so sweet now, number 3. I'm getting mango, pineapple. I'm getting excited. Pineapple. So I'm getting like 30% mango, about 40% pineapple, a little bit of papaya, all kinds of tropicalness.
But floral as well, in my opinion.
Very true, Aiko.
Bit of jasmine.
Oh, it's delish. Number 3, when it reaches the temperatures at, I wish I had a thermometer. I think it's like in the low 60s now. It really works. Is anybody else noticing that as number 3 reached this temperature, it's suddenly amazing? Wow. Right. Okay. Here we go. Coffea circular, number 4. Oh my God. Number 4 is so incredible because it's got this sweet kind of blackberry taste that I feel like it just reminds me of when I was a kid and I was eating jelly. And sometimes that jelly almost turned to liquid in your mouth. But I feel like I'm almost eating this coffee. That's how prominent and pronounced the fruit notes are. When you taste this coffee, for a split second, is it just me or do you forget that you're drinking coffee and it takes you somewhere different? That is amazing. And that's what's amazing about specialty coffee. Look how far we've come, people. Look how far this journey of coffee is taking us away from that coffee taste, that boring, burnt, ashy, carbon taste of black beans, burnt, over-roasted rubbish. Amazing.
Tastes like
Oh, incredible. And the mouthfeel in number 4, sorry, I just got to say this. The mouthfeel on number 4 now, at this low temperature, is so silky. My head's going to explode. Yes, Aiko, sorry.
David says tastes like better blueberry than a fresh one.
Very true, exactly. It's like a blueberry that's been preserved and cleaned and enhanced. Somebody injected that blueberry with blueberry juice and made it extra blueberry.
Jonathan says very old orange.
Very old orange for number 4.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Strange to describe, he said.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And nobody's ever said that before, like a young fruit or an old fruit. I love that. That's so hyper-specific and interesting, and it shows the excitement to me. So that kind of passion I adore, and I think it's great. Keep being specific like that, people. Love it. So what am I going to taste number 4? What am I going to write down?
Rudy agrees with blueberries.
Oh, it's just divine though, isn't it? There's so many berries going on in number 4. Blackberry. Blueberry. Boysenberry. Every berry, I don't know. I'm calm down, Tim. Boysenberry. Okay. Wow. So I'm not going to score these coffees because I give them all 5 stars. But I want you to score them. Feed that back to us. That will contribute to the overall. And remember, points win prizes here at the Right Roast. So all your contributions get you in with a chance for winning one of our fantastic giveaways that we do every month. And yeah, that has been what? Sorry,
Let's not wrap up.
I'm not wrapping up. Just yeah.
So Pradeep says 4 definitely like some type of jelly or preserve of berries.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Number 4, it really has got that sort of it's like a man-made food thing, but using the most sweet natural fruits. And that to me is incredible, that it's a coffee bean doing that. Think about that, people. You're tasting something that it tastes like a human-made jelly with the greatest fruit, but it's neither. It's just a coffee bean doing those things. Wowzers. So really, I nearly picked up the cup, just drank it straight there. Let's try again. Amazing. And I want to drink number 3 again as well, just to see what's going on.
Are you getting any process differences or particular flavors?
Am I getting any?
Particular flavors for each process?
I'm not sure. I think that the tea-like nature and cleanliness of number 1, well, that's just a great testimony to the wonderful washing process that's gone on in Timor. So their success is how clean this coffee is, and that allows you to taste the origin in such a beautiful way without any kind of defectiveness or unpleasantness. So fantastic results there for number 1. KB, and now that I've learned that the farmer takes away the process from someone else because he's disappointed with the way they're doing it, says, I'm going to do it myself. And then here we are drinking his incredible coffee because he had that moment, that light bulb moment. Caro Coffee Roasters, well, he met the guy who did this coffee. What was his name again? Frank Torres and his brother. He meets Frank Torres years ago and says, and they hook up and decide to work together years later with this coffee. So I love that it's years in the making, these coffees. And this one here, Dilgo, is absolutely epic. And do watch the video. And if you want to brew this in a really interesting way, I recommend you watch Ivica's 111 method. It's quite interesting. It's teaching me a lot. And I'm going to be doing some videos about that in the future because it's just he's a very analytical guy. And he really broke it down in a fascinating way. So if you've got time, watch those videos, deep dive. And if you want any more of these coffees, remember you can order more of the ones you love with discount or switch to the whole bag plan. You can still join our cuppings and you can enjoy all these coffees as whole bags. So please guys, let's make the coffee club even bigger and more exciting in the future. Right.
So if they upload the card?
Time, yes. Do upload your cards, guys. You don't have to do that right now, but get them in there. What's this for?
So the people who upload the cards could get one.
Right. Anyone who uploads these cards, we're going to randomly select to give you these giveaways. So what we have here are Coffea circular bags. Love that. Look at that. So you get a tote bag with the angel of coffee holding her coffee cherries. I love Coffea Circular's logo. So you get Caro Coffee Roasters. Oh, look, this is their original one, actually. This is going to be a bit of a collector because Caro have actually redesigned. So this one is their original design. So if you want to look like a true coffee buff, why not have this limited edition original Caro coffee design or this t-shirt? So this is by KB Coffee Roasters. And we'll make sure that we give this to somebody who this will fit. So yeah, those are our little giveaways. We've obviously got our mega giveaways to announce as well. That's something we should do. Well, sorry, we've also got this to give away. So KB have given us, thanks to them for giving us not only this t-shirt, but this really cool tin mug. That's with KB on it as well. And this, well, we've got one as well. I'm loving it. This is a sort of keep cup. It's called the Circular & Co. cup. And it's sort of a push down, push up lock. Just portable cup. So we've got all kinds of little fun giveaways here to do. And I'll put them there.
So that's for the people who
That's
upload.
just the mini one. So upload your cards and we'll pick 1, 2, 3, 4, was it 4 or 5 people?
Yeah.
And you'll get one of them for that.
Okay.
Fantastic.
People have questions.
Yes.
How water can refresh your perception of flavor? Flavor perceived. I don't know.
Tricky question.
Yeah.
Something about water?
Water?
So what's the name of the person?
Polozov.
Polozov, you're asking about water. Water is extremely important. I'm not sure the question, but water obviously is going to affect the flavor because it's 99% of the coffee is water. So tap water, if you're in England, I know is going to taste crap. And filtered water is a lot better. Peak water jug is a fantastic way to do it. Bottled water in plastics, not a great idea in the long term because it's bad for the environment. So what we want to do one day is have our own filtering system in-house. But I think the best things to do are to get water jugs or distilled water with third wave water powder. There's many options you can have. So just remember, water matters. So focus on the quality of water. And I would recommend, if you're going to get bottled water, not something I like to recommend, but the low sodium kind is better. So Evian and Perrier, they're terrible because they have high sodium and they can really interfere with the flavor of the coffee. So you want low sodium waters. I'm not going to recommend any because they're plastic bottles of water, and I really don't like to see people adding more plastic into the world. So distilled water or peak water jug type filtering waters, I recommend. That's it for the water thing. Any other questions? Should we do giveaways?
Okay. So asking next theme.
Next theme. Okay. So we're going to announce the next theme now. And next month's theme, are you ready? Is going to be called altitude. So it's all about altitude in coffee. That really affects coffee. I can't wait to learn about it. And we're going to interview people. We're going to discuss altitude. We're going to go live to the farms at all these different altitudes. And we've carefully picked 4 coffees at 4 different altitudes. And we're going to reflect on that. And that's going to be a really exciting one. So you're the first to hear it here. It's an exclusive announcement. And we'll be doing that every month. So get ready, folks, for May to be a really exciting altitude month.
Nice. And Matt's asking, do you do a tasting every month?
Yes, the
On a
cupping.
Sunday?
Oh, sorry. Yes, the coffee cupping will be on a Sunday every month. Now, I think this month we did it quite late in the month. I think you should expect it to be in the second week. Is that right?
No, I think it's similar.
It's going to be similar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it was because today is the London Coffee Festival that we delayed it. Not sure of the timings yet. Remember, this is the first month we're doing this as a monthly service with the 4 coffees. We did trial this 3 times as a bi-monthly, and that was difficult to test when is it best, because we don't want to do it too soon so people don't have their coffees. We don't want to do it too late because you don't want to just hold on to your coffees and wait for a cupping session, especially when you only have 50 grams of coffee. So if you do want to wait and you get your coffees early, please do put 12 aside and just enjoy 3 cups of each coffee and then wait for that 4th one for the cupping. I think it will be the 3rd week of every month, but I'm not sure yet. Okay. And finally, folks, it's time for the moment you're all been waiting for. The giveaway time. Okay. So we've got 3 things to give away this month. 4 things. Sorry. So we have the AeroPress Go. Now, these are our partners that we work with, and we only like to work with people that we think are absolutely amazing brands in the specialty coffee world. People that make products that will enhance your brewing experience, will give you flexibility, versatility, and with the AeroPress Go, the ability to go anywhere and brew anywhere. So we love the AeroPress. The AeroPress Go is just a smaller version of it, carefully designed to be the ideal way to make coffees whilst on the go. So the AeroPress Go is our first prize, and this is going to Reese Beddoe. Adventures in Coffee. This is yours. Is it Adventures in Coffee? What does he call himself? Sorry, Reese Beddoe, otherwise known as Adventurous Coffee Co. You are the winner of this AeroPress Go. Congratulations, Reese. That's for you. We should have like a cheering crowd noise every time we announce. Okay.
Which we don't have.
We don't have yet. Number 2, right, is Cruve. Is it Cruve, by the way, or Cruve? What do you guys say? I think it's Cruve. So, Cruve, again, a brand I'm super excited to be working with because they create products that are about finessing your coffee experience. Now, I know a lot of people have grinder issues, and if you do, the sifter is the baby. It's one that separates the fines. This is the one where you can control and brew your coffees absolutely perfect. You've got time, then I recommend this. Now, the Cruve sifter comes with a whole bunch of different ways of sifting and separating the coffee. It also comes with the Brewler. The Brewler is a fantastic way to calibrate your coffee. It even has this fridge magnet in there which you can use. So this is a fantastic giveaway as well. And we can announce that our number 2 prize is going to Alessandro Lin. Is that right? Lin? or is the name longer? Is it just Lin?
I don't know.
Linzito. Alessandro Linzito. You are the winner of the Groove product. Yay! Fantastic. Okay. And number 3 prize?
It's the fellow.
Ah, right, the kettle. Now, this kettle, although not working today for us, power issues, don't worry. This has been one of my favorite products to use. Now, the one thing you do the most when brewing coffee is pouring. That's what you're going to spend most of your time doing. And this little device it makes it an absolute pleasure. Now, if you're boiling pasta or something like that, it's going to take a pretty long time to pour. It's not one of those kettles that's for everyday use, but it really is a game changer for brewing coffee because it just gives you beautiful precision, control, the temperature control we love as well, very, very important. And the design, the ergonomics, the weight, the balance, everything about this makes coffee brewing a mega pleasure.
Alessandro is here.
Alessandro, congratulations on your Groove Sifter. Do let us know how you're enjoying this when you get this. And let's announce that the winner of the beautiful fellow kettle is Rachel Reese, otherwise known as the Barista Baker. Congratulations, Rachel. Yay! Okay, so not this one, don't worry. A fresh one is coming to you. And finally we have the mega, the one and only Comandante grinder. Now this bad boy, I can't tell you what it's done to our coffee. We had another grinder, I'm not going to tell you which, and it served us well for many years, but I was beginning to have issues with the fines, with the problems with it. And then when this came along, it absolutely transformed our coffee experiences. Grinding coffee is probably the single most important thing you can do to improve your coffee. And there are grinders out there very similar to Comandante, but I just find this one to be the most beautiful, the most easy to use, the most well designed. It's an absolute pleasure and the results are epic. So, and what I love lately is the feel. When you grind coffee by hand, you get a feel for the beans. You get a great haptic kind of feel. Oh, the beans are soft, or oh, the beans are hard. And that information can also help with your brewing. So you're getting tremendous feedback. You're getting great results with this. It won't let you down. I think I've built it up enough. And the winner is Gary Watkins. Gary Watkins, congratulations. Now the reason why you win this is because you have been a mega contributor, and it's been a real pleasure to see all of you do all your contributions. Thank you so much, people. And
the important thing is inviting friends.
Invite your friends. Gary Watkins is winning this because he went above and beyond. I mean, he invited friends who joined the club. Sorry, I banged the mic. Invites friends who joined the club. He does all the experiences, the cuppings and everything. So not a hard thing to do. And well done, Gary. You are now the winner of this incredible grinder. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this month. We're going to have more giveaways next month. Super duper stuff happening every month. Altitude is the next edition. To the people who joined us on the London Coffee Festival, it's been a real pleasure to see you. Hopefully you can join us every month now. Let us know your thoughts if you enjoy cupping, if you enjoy specialty coffee. We're here to help guide you through this. So it's been a real pleasure today. One of my favorite cuppings so far. Absolutely mega. Thanks everyone for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the London Coffee Festival. Stay coffee enlightened. I'll see you all very soon.